Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing something different. I've not tried using Snap Mat that many times before, but I thought I would have a go today and show you how Snap Mat actually works. And on my screen is the bee that I'm going to be using in today's video as my design. So without further ado, let's get started. So what exactly is Snap Mat? So Snap Mat is a feature that is available on iPads and iPhones, so you can basically just get all the different colours of vinyl that you'll be using in one project, pop it onto your mat, just one single mat, and then cut everything out in one go, and your machine will know which bit of vinyl needs to be which colour. And it just saves time really, because normally if you weren't using Snap Mat and you were just using a normal desktop mat situation, you would have to put one mat in with yellow on it, one mat in with the black on it, another mat in with the blue on it, and then another mat in with the silver on it. But with this, it's literally so time saving and so much quicker to do the same project. So now this is done with one cut mat, I'm going to be able to weed it and assemble it and get it all put together so quickly. So what I like to do with Snap Mat is just use scrap pieces of vinyl. We've probably all got a scrap vinyl box, and this one is mine. I've got all my tiny pieces of vinyl and I just keep them in here. I've also got a 12 by 12 photo album that I use, and I keep all my bigger pieces like this in there. But it just enables you to use up some of your scraps as well, because obviously I know I personally save every single little scrap of vinyl, because in the future I might need a tiny bit of yellow, for instance, for a project, or a tiny bit of this silver. So there's no point in me throwing away all the pieces when I know that I might be able to use them. So I'm just on my computer here today to start off with, and the reason that I'm doing this on the computer is to get my design ready, and then what I'm going to do is save it to the cloud so that I can access it on my phone. So I've got this little bee design here. I'll put the image number on the screen now for you and down below in the description box. I have changed the colours slightly to what he is when he is the actual image of Design Space, and he does have some little hearts and stuff up here which I've also taken off. But the main reason that I'm doing it on my computer to start with is because I've added an offset layer to the back of him here, because he's going to be a car sticker, and that feature still is not available on iPads, iPhones or any other mobile devices. So I'm using my computer first to get that started for that reason. So I've just ungrouped my bee, and I'm just going to pull all my layers apart so that you can see what we've got going on here with him. So there's the offset, there is his black layer, his yellow layer, and his wings into different sections. So what I'm going to do as my first step is just click on select all, and I'm going to change the colour to one colour. I'm going to make them all grey. So the last thing I want to do is just move all my layers back together. So let's just put them back as they were. This is just really for sizing purposes. They don't have to line up completely on top of one another. Then let's select all and just group that together. So that's the size that we've got it on our computer. So let's click on save. So now, once that's saved, I'm going to go onto my phone. So I'm on Design Space here now. Let's go to View Profile. There's my bee car sticker. I'm going to click on Customize. I'm going to just replace that. So there it is there. So because I grouped my image on my computer before I came over to Design Space on my phone, I am able to just grab onto him and just use this arrow handle on the right hand side just to make him smaller. Alright, so that is the size I'm going to go for, I think, which was, let me just check the size, so 7.3, let's make him 7.5-ish. That's there or thereabouts. Okay, so now what I need to do is get my mat ready. Alright, so here's my mat, and I've got my pieces of vinyl already put down onto here. I'm just going to give them a good bray down, and what I'm going to do is make the machine cut each piece of the actual bee on each section, but on one mat, if that makes sense. It will probably make more sense when it's actually happening. So I'm just going to go back to my phone, and on there I'm going to click on Make It. And then you can see all the different pieces of the bee that are there that need to be cut. And in the bottom left hand corner you can see the little camera icon with Snap Mat on there. So I'm going to tap on Snap Mat. And now what I need to do is take a picture of my mat. So I'm just going to pop that down a second, because what I have found that when I'm taking a picture of my mat, the contrast between the green of my cutting board that I've got on my desk isn't enough of a contrast. So I put my little tea towel down that I use when I'm using my easy press. And then what I need to do is take a photo of it. So I'm going to show you on both cameras so you can see. So on the screen on the phone it's giving me the picture of the actual mat, and then I've got these lines that are a bit like a spirit level with the blue dots and then moving around loads. So what you need to do is line up your mat with that white box, and then you need to try and get those little blue dots as close to the center as you can, and then it takes a picture of your mat as you can see there. So I'm going to click now on Use. Now you can see I've got all my pieces of my bee come onto the screen. So what I'm going to do now is move them around so that they fit on the pieces that they need to be cut from. So that is the black piece. This one here is the yellow, so we just move it up. And then we've got this one here is going to be the blue. And then this one here is going to be on this holographic one. Now, it's important to say that in all reality, each piece of vinyl that you've got on your mat should be the same type of vinyl. Obviously it isn't in this case because the holographic vinyl is a different type of vinyl to the other three that I'm using, but I'm going to give it a go because my blade is quite dull at the moment. I'm going to use the holographic vinyl setting, and I think it will still work on the other three. So I'm now going to click on Next. And now my material settings come up. So I want to click on the holographic vinyl. There we go. So holographic sparkle is one of my favourite settings. I use it all the time. What it's telling me to do now is load the tools and the mat. So I'm going to load my mat into my machine. So you can see I've inserted the mat just there, and now on the phone screen it's telling us just to press the go button. So let's press go. And it's doing the same sort of thing on the screen that it would do if you're using a computer. So it's detecting the tool and getting everything ready to cut, and then it should just cut each piece in the right spot on the mat. So that's finished. Let's click eject. Alright, so this is cut now. Let's do some weeding with it and see how we get on. I'm going to weed on the mat today just to try and give me a bit of a helping hand with the weeding. Oh, I could have saved all that. Look at that, I've wasted. So as I said before, it's important really that your vinyls are the same type of vinyl, but if you know your machine well and you know your settings well, then you'll be able to work out whether it will work. So I've obviously used two different types of vinyl here. This one is all outdoor permanent vinyl, and this one is a permanent vinyl as well, but it's holographic sparkle, so it is quite thick. But I know that my blade is a little bit dull right now, so I know that my setting I've used for this vinyl would be fine for all my other vinyls that I've got on here. Alright then, now we're ready to assemble this little bee. I'm just going to use some clear transfer tape today, because my paper one I won't be able to see through to get it in the right spot. I'm going to cut myself a little piece out. This is actually cheap book covering from like Poundland or somewhere like that, so you don't need anything expensive for this project at all. What I'm going to do is just bring my piece down that I'm going to start with here, then just peel back my transfer tape and I'll pop that over the top like so. Give it a little press down. I'm just going to give it a little burnish with my squeegee, and then I'm going to get that off the mat and turn it over and just peel that back. Okay, so I've got my bee off of my transfer paper backing. So what I'm going to do now is just pop my paper backing back on, leaving the tiniest tip of my bee showing there. I'm going to flip my mat round and I'm going to use this as a guide for where I want to lay my bee. So let's just pop that there, and you can see how I'm lining it up. I'm just going to press that down, and then I'm going to carefully peel off the rest of my backing paper, and I'm just going to check before I lay it down that it's in the right spot that I want it to be. I'm just going to make a tiny adjustment. Okay, there we go. Then I'm just going to use my little scraper again. I thought this backing offset in the silver would look lovely. Really make this bee pop. There we go, so that's that. Next I'm going to do this yellow piece. So let's just pop that on there and give it a good burnish again. Pull that off. And then I'm going to just turn my mat round again, just to get this in the right spot. If you're not very good at layering and placing your layers in the right spot, I've got a video that I did on this subject, and I will link that above and down below for you now, so you can get some tips on how to layer your vinyl properly. That is that one. Now what I'm going to do next is put this inside this and then transfer both at the same time, and the reason that I'm going to do that is purely because it will just make it quicker really to do in one big piece instead of layering two layers I don't really need to layer. So I've got that onto there now. Alright, that's on. Let's give it a good old burnish again. It needs a super good burnish for that layer. And then I'm going to just lift that up. And I'm going to just snip off that piece from there. And I'm going to give this one a burnish on the back as well, because it's got two layers that it's dealing with. And then we can lift up this one. There we go. And then we can lay our last piece onto our project. There we go. Give him a good old burnish again. Got a tiny piece of HTV that keeps finding its way back onto my desk. Right, there we go. Let's just lift up that there. Okay, so there it is, that is done. What I'm going to do next is just give it a good burnish down to make sure everything's stuck well. And then I'll peel back my last piece of transfer tape. And if there's any bits that haven't quite stuck, you'll be able to just reposition those if you need to. There you go, there is your bee car sticker. When you are selling these, if you're selling these, what I would do is try and keep your backing paper straight. Obviously I've got a bit of a jagged edge there, and then what I do is put a piece of clean transfer paper or transfer tape over the top, just like that, and just have them ready so that people can transfer them. The other thing that I'd like to mention about using an offset as a layer is that now this sticker is actually really quite sturdy. So it would be quite easy for your customer, once they've purchased it, to literally just peel it off like a sticker and apply it to whatever they're going to apply it to. So that's a quick introduction into Snap Mat. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you found it useful. If you have, I'd love to see you again for the next one. So don't forget to subscribe. Drop me any questions or comments that you've got down below. And if you have learned something new and you're going to give Snap Mat a go, don't forget to hit the big thumbs up button so that I know that you have learned something. Thanks for watching and have a great week. Take care of yourselves and I'll see you soon. Bye.